Was Simon actually taking that much time out of you?
Oh, it's a lot. Think of it like this. Side Plus used to just be podcasts.
Right.
And now it's podcasts, behind the scenes, shows, and that's just one section. Then you got Netflix stuff, you got Amazon stuff.
Hey.
It got to a point where physically and mentally it was killing me. I have decided that I will be no longer be doing Sidemen videos.
KSI leaving the Sidemen is not the controversial part. The controversial part is how he left. After more than a decade of being one of the faces of the Sidemen, KSI announced that he was stepping away. And honestly, at first, you can understand his decision. KSI said he had been running at full speed for years and wanted more time for his family, his personal life, and his own projects.
I feel like I've been running at full speed, trying to be everything for everyone, trying to be everywhere.
Fair enough, nobody can seriously say someone should stay in a group forever just because fans want them there. But before we talk about the way he left, there is another part of the story people can't ignore, because over the years, KSI's confidence started becoming a huge part of his personality, and at some point, it felt like he wasn't just trying to grow anymore. He wanted to prove he could beat everyone around him. Fans started noticing how often KSI talked about competing with major other creators, especially named like ishowspeed.
Okay, who do you think's more famous? Me or Speed?
Speed, mate.
You're mental, bro.
mrbeast, and even the Sidemen themselves. After his departure, clips and comments from that period were heavily discussed online, with critics arguing that KSI had become too obsessed with views, numbers, and becoming bigger than the creator around him.
I'm trying to compete with Jimmy. Yeah, but I mentioned the Sidemen boys. I'm gonna get more subscribers than Sidemen, and I'm also get more views than Sidemen.
And this is where the story gets interesting, because ambition itself isn't a bad thing. Wanting to become the biggest creator in the world isn't a crime. But when your competition starts becoming more important than the people who helped build you, that's when confidence can turn into overconfidence.
There's always like a Harry Styles, or in One Direction, or a Beyonce in Destiny's Child. So you could argue that I am that of the Sidemen.
The Sidemen were literally built by 7 friends who started creating together back in 2013, and the group still describes itself as a collective of best friends. So when KSI started looking more focused on becoming a solo giant, some fans began wondering whether the Sidemen had slowly become something he had outgrown, and maybe that's exactly how KSI saw it. But here is where I think his biggest mistake happened. He had every right to leave, he had every right to prioritize his family, he had every right to chase bigger personal goals, but having the right to leave doesn't automatically mean you handle the exit perfectly. Because according to the reaction from the Sidemen side, the issue was not simply that JJ wanted out, it was the way the announcement happened. Instead of getting one huge emotional farewell after 13 years, instead of seeing all 7 members sit together and properly close that chapter, fans suddenly had to process the fact that KSI was leaving, and that's why the reaction became so much bigger than just a creator quitting a group.
I have to ask you, obviously, about KSI leaving.
The 6 of us have said that we want to carry on making the content, and we have the same team that we've built to help us deliver the content. So we are continuing making content and having a great time as the 6 of us, which is amazing, because we did always say at one point, we said, if one of us leaves, do then others leave, does that end the Sidemen? That was a complete unknown.
Think about what the Sidemen actually represented. These were not random business partners. They were the people KSI grew up with, built with, traveled with, and created some of the biggest moments of his career with. So after all those years, was this really the best way to end it? And this is where I think the both sides can be true. KSI can genuinely need a change in his life, while fans can still feel disappointed by how that change was handled. You don't have to believe KSI betrayed the Sidemen to think he could have handled the situation better, and you don't have to hate KSI. Admit that his competitive mindset may have made the whole situation feel even more complicated, because maybe the real problem was not that KSI wanted to leave. Maybe it was that somewhere along the way, winning became more important than the ending, and that's why this controversy is not disappearing. People are not necessarily angry that KSI chose himself. They are asking whether he remembered the people who helped him become the person he is today, and maybe that's the part of this entire story that KSI should have thought about the most. And now the real question isn't whether KSI was wrong for leaving. The real question is, did KSI leave the Sidemen, or did he leave the Sidemen behind? Because those two things sound similar, but they're actually very different. So that's all for today's video, and guys, let me know in the comment section that what do you think? Was KSI completely justified, or did he seriously fumble the way he left?